Greetings, booktubers. Welcome back to Grammaticus Books. And today on Grammaticus Books, we're going to be talking about the 1969 comedy classic, Lord of the Rings. This is a parody, a biting parody of the epic trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. It was put out in 1969 by the Harvard Lampoon. The Harvard Lampoon, which would go on to supply the founding members of the National Lampoon of Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation fame. It's a comedy publication at Harvard University that's been around since 1876, which I did not know, and it's pretty cool. And these two guys who authored the book, Henry Beard and Douglas Kenney, wrote this and got it published through the Harvard Lampoon in Signet Press for 166 pages worth of satire and comedy of the Lord of the Rings, titled Lord of the Rings. It's a bit of a cult classic. I had never heard of it until a coworker brought it up to my attention a couple of weeks ago. And it was the perfect thing, the perfect book that I needed, a perfect palate cleanser after reading several fantasy and science fiction books that were rather on the dark side and that took themselves way too seriously. In several cases, the authors were taking themselves way too seriously. And this was the perfect antidote to those books. I enjoyed it immensely. It's a very quick and short read, and I do recommend it to anybody who's looking for a fun, quick read and a parody of Lord of the Rings. It's very entertaining. Now, it is slapstick humor from start to finish, and at the start of the book, the authors do pay homage to the original Lord of the Rings as a fantastic work of English literature that they admire greatly and love tremendously, and that is one of the main reasons why they're writing this book, is out of respect to J.R.R. Tolkien and the book The Lord of the Rings. And then they follow that up immediately with, and they want to make a lot of money, which I'm sure is true. And this book has been in continuous publication since 1969. It's been in publication for over 50 continuous years, which shows you just kind of the enduring popularity of it, although albeit as sort of a underground and lesser known book. At least I hadn't known about it until a coworker brought it to my attention. And I'll put covers of Lord of the Rings, or pardon me, Board of the Rings up over here while I'm talking about the book. And the reason I can't show you a physical copy is because I tried to get one from my local library system, and despite my local library system having over 5 million titles that you can check out, they had 0 hard copy versions of this book, not a one. So I had to go with an e-reader, which is not my first preference. I would far prefer to read a physical copy any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But anyway, those were my choices, so that's what I had to go with. The book makes, like I said, just a parody and a biting satire of Lord of the Rings from start to finish. It makes extensive use of brand names that were available back in 1969 and inserts these brand names from 1969 into the novel as a large part of its humor. And I'll give you some examples of that. Merry and Pippin become Moxie and Pepsi, these two soda brands that were back in 1969. Of course, everybody knows Pepsi. But Moxie was also a soda that was available back then that has since gone the way of the dinosaur. Sam, Frodo's traveling companion, his Batman, so to speak, becomes Spam. And Frodo himself is referred to as Frito Bugger. And what else do we have? Minas Tirith becomes Minestrone. And Tom Bombadil, the famous Tom Bombadil, is Tim Benzedrine, a pill-popping hippie who runs around in the woods. So that's the level of comedy that we're talking about. And early in the book, they refer to the scene from The Hobbit where Bilbo Baggins stays his hand and decides not to kill Gollum, and he decides not to kill him out of pity. And in this book here, it says, yes, pity stayed his hand. Pity that he had run out of bullets for his .38 revolver because he wanted desperately to kill him, but he didn't want to get his hands dirty, and he had a .38 revolver that he shot everybody who disagreed with him. So again, this is sort of the level of humor that you're talking about here. Middle-earth is referred to as Lower Middle-earth, and when Gandalf, who's called Good Golf in this book, comes back and becomes Gandalf the White, he goes to a boutique and he outfits himself in basically like a disco outfit, like John Travolta from Saturday Night Live, where he's got the white bell-bottoms, the white jacket, and he's wearing a white Panama hat with a big boa feather in it. And he's carrying around an ancient and revered weapon, which is referred to by the elves of Middle-earth as a Browning, a semi-automatic. So that's Gandalf. And when Gandalf is not providing a wisdom to the group or leading them through the course of their epic adventure, he's committing petty thievery whenever he can. And it's very entertaining. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was the perfect remedy that I needed right at this time. I've been reading a number of science fiction and fantasy novels that were very dark, and the authors took themselves way too seriously. And this was certainly not the case with this book here, Board of the Rings, and I enjoyed it immensely. If you're looking for a quick, light filler book to perk up your mood and give you a little bit of humor about Lord of the Rings, this is definitely the book for you to check out and read a copy of. It should be very easy to get an e-copy of it through Libby or Hoopla or another one of those e-service readers. So that's it. That's my quick and down and dirty review of the 1969 Harvard Lampoon edition of Board of the Rings. I do like it. If you've read it and have thoughts on it, please put those thoughts down in the comments section below. Again, I do read and try to respond to all the comments. And with that, I'm going to say take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys next time.